Okay, greetings and welcome to Eccentric Perspective. It is Tuesday, August 12th of 2025. I am your host, Blake Wally. A little better late than never. Huge show lined up, and it was just hard to get all of the components in the right order. Lots of stuff, and only two shows. I mean, this is the kind of days where I have to think about adding a third show, but maybe this is just an outlier. It's a heavier news week than normal, but there are some big topics. So let's dive in. This is the thumbnail for today: fantasy fascism and the fall of Zionism. So you'll have to stay tuned to see what all of that means, but I will get into it all and then some. Here is the rest of the headlines. So, Trump, is he planning for nationwide federal police? He's just kind of testing it out with the old DC. And then this is the ultimate plan, though, is to roll it out, eventually turn America into a police state. Perhaps. Who knows? But interesting development yesterday, as many of you saw. And Trump, is he about to land a peace deal with Putin? Big meeting on Friday. And Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, is he going to be indicted on 2 charges? Perhaps more or not? Well, we shall see. Most alleged fascism, is it just manufactured by leftists? I think I kind of swapped these out at the last minute, but it's all good. I'm going to cover everything in due time, hopefully less than 90 minutes, but we shall see. And then Hamas propaganda. Is it to blame for the fake genocide? And Zionism, is it going to fall from the weight of its own lies? And finally, maybe a few odds and ends. But is it time to appease Con Inc. and recriminalize weed? Get our Reefer madness back for 2025. So this is what I have. Of course, feel free to drop a line in the chat, drive us into a different direction, perhaps challenge me to cover another story, or perhaps there's breaking news, something I've missed. Who knows? Your feedback in live time, so let me know, and I can incorporate your thoughts into the broadcast. And that's we'll go from there. So let me run a very quick show intro, and I will see you on the other side to talk about all of these crazy stories and more. So here we go. Okay, we're back. Blake Wally, Eccentric Perspective. Let's get started. Here we go. This is the big story that came down yesterday, perhaps alarming many people, but a potentially dangerous precedent here as Trump is now taking control of the DC police to restore safety, pride, and beauty to the nation's capital. So it's to ensure that all citizens can avail themselves of the right to interact with their elected representatives, and that federal government can properly function without fear of being subjected to violent, menacing street crime. And, I've been to D.C. a few times, and yeah, it can be a little hairy there in certain places. People know that it's been a crime-ridden disaster area for a long time. In fact, just recalling now about, 30 some years ago, them ripping on it even on the old show Married with Children when they went to go visit Washington. And the running gag of the show was that you could hear all of the gunfire outside of their hotel room. So this has been going on for a long time. And Trump is perhaps sick of it and wants to crack down. And can you blame him? And of course, with all of the Democrats, liberals, leftists freaking out because one possibly racist cop in Minneapolis killed a black man, George Floyd. They decided to defund police all across the country. And that's, so it's led to new rises in crimes or the manipulation of crime data. And so now Trump is making this new step. Should it be bold? And then they've got people have been complaining about the crime getting worse there in DC and the homelessness or the drug use in the park. We'll get to the reefer madness stuff. So I don't know. I haven't spent lots of time there, but that's kind of the idea. I've got this. It's terrible to drive, but there are beautiful parts. It's a cool city in a way, and it's a tourist city, and it's something that you would want people from other countries to feel safe in. Have a good visit to DC, but who knows? But perhaps this is just the soft rollout for the fascist tyranny we're all about to endure, as he's going to crack down on MAGA and all of his political enemies. Who knows? But perhaps that is one theory. Anywho, so we got about 800 National Guard troops have been deployed so far, and mechanisms are in place to deploy more and request some from state governors should the need arise. Yes, and it should be a center, DC should be, in theory, a center of pride for the American people, a place citizens can visit safely. Yes, without jumping through the homeless encampments. Trying to fend off muggers and attackers. Who knows? We've seen Seth Rich. We just saw Big Balls, one of Elon's super coding geniuses, or whatever his role was with Doge, also got attacked. So, anyhow, but yes, despite that, leftists didn't take it well because it's the fascist fantasy, the fantasy fascism. So they're trying to make themselves out to be the good guys resisting the fascist dictator. So they took to the streets. Didn't take long. Yeah, that's what I said. Wow, escalated very quickly. So this is almost seemingly right away after Trump conducted a very long press conference and then trying to answer many questions and assuage concerns. It still wasn't enough as people had signs ready. This might have been a little bit astroturf, but that's kind of par for the course. So we can see from here. I can play a little bit. Mostly it's annoying with all of the whistles and background noise, but there you go. So I definitely want to see Trump step down. It's taking too much and release the files. Yeah, that'd be cool. That's something we could agree with. But I don't know. Is this really a bad thing? It could be in theory, but I think that's a bit of fear-mongering. Again, it's fantasizing about fascism, but is it really? Well, if he decides to pursue it further and push it into other cities, yeah, because the forefathers were against that as well. But what do you do when you defund the regular police and crime is exploding? He's going to sit there? Or are you going to wait to, train a bunch of new cadets? Do you hire the old ones? Or do you use some of the military resources to shut down some of the areas that are more problematic? I'm open to it all. He could be a fascist dictator. This could be just the test run. That Trump is he's just trapping everybody, trying to get a little trust with the MAGA, and then he's gonna whack you right when you least expect it. I don't know if I subscribe to that. We can have that debate. So if you want, you may give me your 2 cents, your opinion on that. Throw it in the chat. Show me where I'm missing the point. Perhaps I am. This is Scott Jennings on CNN describing how he saw a murder right in front of him in D.C. That nobody in their right mind who lives there or visits there on a regular basis would tell you that D.C. is safe. So let's watch a quick exchange here.
But there's an obvious difference between D.C. and any other city in America. You know, a few months ago, I was in Union Station and saw a body hit the floor at the bottom of the escalator in Union Station because there was a murder right in front of me up on the 2nd floor. I was going to get a tie, and I heard the shots and saw the body hit the floor. So I've been listening all day long to people trying to make some argument that Washington, D.C. is a safe place. It's not a safe place. And we can argue about statistics and numbers. There's a police commander right now on suspension because there's some allegation that the statistics have been altered. But we can argue about that all day long. Nobody in their right mind who lives there or visits there on a regular basis would tell you that Washington, D.C. is safe, and everybody who goes there knows it. But there's an obvious difference between D.C.
Okay, I'm not calling him a liar, but that is a bold statement that you saw somebody die. But I do take it seriously that he would know. He's probably been in that area and knows plenty of people and correspondents and politicians and politicos. So it's not exactly a secret. But not everybody agrees on this, including David Icke, very outspoken from across the pond, calling out Nick Sortor, investigative journalist, for talking about this, saying Pete Hegseth announced the National Guard officially began mobilizing in D.C., and you will see them flowing into the streets, Washington, in the coming week. Lock the place down. A lot of people, maybe it's drastic times, call for drastic measures, and they need to clean some stuff up. So we've kind of normalized the idea that there's just all this crime and that there's homeless encampments. Nobody cares. Okay, but David Icke, let's go back. Let's see. Yes, the media ass slicker celebrates the deployment of troops for domestic law enforcement. If the Democrats were in power, he would call it fascism. It's a mental illness, surely. And again, that could be fair, at least from his perspective. It just kind of depends on whether you believe that Trump is part of the machine or not. I don't. I believe he is an outsider. He's his own man, and that sometimes he plays politics with all the different sides, but he's not some kind of satanic freak or a Freemason or any. There's never been any indication that he's part of one of these elites. So even if he is on the Epstein flight logs, he was never at the island. So I don't think he's part of the blue-blooded, the George Bush, the Mitt Romney, in the Nikki Haley clubs. The establishment went after him pretty hard, raiding his house in Mar-a-Lago, the endless lawfare, the assassination attempts. So I don't know. I don't subscribe to that exact theory. So I would have a lot more of an issue with it if it was the leftists. Then I would be freaking out it's fascism. But again, if it's localized to D.C., which is a federal land anyway. But if the Democrats had their way, they would have loaded MAGA up on it. I mean, they tried to arrest and throw as many J6er people into the D.C. gulag. They would have shut this country down for, in COVID tyranny, forced us all to take the experimental jabs. So I don't know. That would be different. So I guess I'm going to have to trust Trump. And then again, it's the fantasy fascism at play. But again, we have to be vigilant and at least be open-minded to the possibility. And then here's TK Mark. Any arrests? This is the new running joke, but there are some big developments coming. So I'm going to get to, but I'm going to play one more quick clip, and then we're going to get to arrest talk. So here is another part of the fantasy, the AI video here from Max Blumenthal, or at least he's sharing this, saying devastatingly accurate, except for the final scene where the betrayed MAGA masses storm the White House. To a spoiler alert. But if Trump's base truly turns on him, he'll get them back into line by using federal troops or ICE to incite a race war in a major U.S. city like D.C. or L.A. So let's run this fun little AI fantasy video.
Everyone loves us. They made us great.
Yes, the social credit scores. I mean, again, if this was if Kamala had won, or God forbid, Nikki Haley, this is where I do believe the world would go. Maybe it still will. Maybe Trump has got me fooled, and everybody and so many else. And that's cool. We can't be cult followers here. Be vigilant. But this, I don't know. I can't see him pulling that off, but we could make the argument. Or J.D. Vance and the Palantir. But I don't know. J.D. Vance seems like a pretty good guy so far as I can tell. But again, this could all just be a ruse. It's all the K-Fab. It's all the professional wrestling entertainment showmanship while they conspire against us behind the scenes. So, all right, sorry, I'm going to keep rolling here. But yes, it's showing the elites, the Trump elites versus the peasantry that worships him, is going to be deceived and let down.
We didn't deport them, we erased them.
It's Stephen Miller. It's all the poor innocent people being rounded up by the masked fascist ICE.
We made America great.
Oh, Diddy. Cameo. The Epstein files classified. That's a good point. There's some good shit. Oh, there is that Snake Jelaine making a dirty deal, getting her freedom back, laughing at you while she preys on your daughters, signs them up to be massage therapists for good old Jeffrey boy. Pete Hegseth looks pretty menacing there. Delicious caviar. There it is. Kind of like reminiscent of J6 again, storming the castle. Uh-oh. MAGA crashing the party again.
And that was the end of the first phase of democracy as laid out by the Founding Fathers, and the beginning of the healing.
Okay, well, it's interesting. It's a theory. Put it out there. It's cool in a way. I just, I don't quite believe that one. But I could be wrong. Okay, well, let's move on. But yeah, interesting stuff. Little show and tell for the class. All right, so I guess let me go back to this. Trump planning for a nationwide federal police. I'll wait until I see it. So far, I just see it localized to DC, which is a federal land anyway. So I don't know. It's not my call. So I think people are overreacting. But yeah, to be vigilant. So when if they're really going to kick off other stuff like Max Blumenthal, I do respect a lot of what Max Blumenthal says, but there is a big part of these sort of libertarian faction that just believes that Trump is 100% compromised, it didn't matter, and that it's just you can't vote for anybody. They're just all controlled opposition no matter what. So you're just continuously screwed, which is fair until something happens. For example, well, let's see. This is what I was looking for. Using federal troops to incite a race war. And I mean, I can't think of Trump actually trying to start a false flag operation against the American citizens. Do I really believe he's that evil? No. I believe he egomaniac, wants to be liked, loves this country, wants people to like him, wants to do the right thing, doesn't like a lot of these elitists. I don't know. But I guess as they're showing in 100 years, assuming our civilization survives, they can look at it in a different perspective. Perhaps they will pull up my video one day and mock me. Oh, look at this guy. So naive, thinking Trump was actually a good guy. Boy, did he learn the hard way, that Blake Wally guy. So, I don't know. But maybe there's a brighter future from it, and they can learn from my mistakes. Thank you so much. I don't know. Anywho, let's move on to the next subject, I suppose. We can talk about the fascist fantasies of Jimmy Kimmel and Sarah Silverman. As they're admitting now, they're repulsive liberal voices that drive people away from the Democratic Party, but also forget that they're part of the problem. I think that wasn't that her name of her political show? Part of the problem? I forget. I was talking about both of these guys last week, reminiscing about the good old days of Comedy Central, South Park, all of the great shows they had, including by those guys. The Man Show, the Roasts, the Ben Stein's Money, the Sarah Silverman Show, and then they've all turned into just woke, raging leftists, fantasizing about fascism. Here we go.
It's the loud voices that scare people from saying what they believe and make you think twice about a joke or whatever, these things. And, a lot of their points are valid, but a lot of them are also just repulsive. And I mean, they repel people from, they go like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be around you. And I think that if you had to boil it down to like one thing, that's kind of what it is. It's like, oh, you're no fun. I don't want to be part of your group.
Yeah. They've been part of that, man. I liked so many of those guys, and just they all went so far off the rails with the Trump full-fledged, Trump derangement syndrome, and just jumping onto leftist propaganda. Maybe now they're finally having a moment of self-reflection, but now they're blaming, other people around them, even though they were hugely influential voices. Part of the reason why the woke left got so extreme in its ideology over the years. So that's too bad. But they did it to themselves, and I'm sure they capitalized quite well. Anywho, let's move on. There's another one of these crazy people. This is probably an even better example. So, where they found this lady, I don't know, she was some analyst on Bravo or something.
I've had it with white people that triple trumped, that have the nerve and the audacity to walk into a Mexican restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, an Indian restaurant, go to perhaps their gay hairdresser. I don't think you should be able to enjoy anything but Cracker Barrel. And if you want to triple Trump and you want to browbeat DEI, and you want to browbeat gay.
This is angry Karen flipping out. Yeah, I think that some of it is just like these woke raging leftist Karens. They're just angry and bitter they've lost the culture war. No, they're just imagining, they're, again, fighting half of America as some sort of, evil fascists. And racist, too. Like, shouldn't even be allowed into, like, ethnic restaurants. Should only be allowed in Cracker Barrel. Ripped Cracker Barrel last week. The breakfast is awesome, but I wouldn't go there for lunch or dinner, maybe, unless you just want fried chicken and mashed potatoes. Interesting place. They're going through an overhaul. So people are criticizing their new look, getting away from it. But they do awesome breakfast. So, to be fair, but let's roll. Keep rolling.
People, and you want to browbeat black people as you've been doing for 400 years. And you want to...
See, this is fantasy fascism. It's not based in reality. She wants to believe that MAGA are all a bunch of raging racist fascists. Now she's the good lady. But now that this video has gone viral and been ripped on by maybe she'll have some moment of self-reflection. Maybe she's the fascist.
Browbeat this generation of immigrants that come over here and open up businesses.
We welcome immigrants. We don't welcome the illegal alien invaders that came over by the millions over an open border to be used as a voting bloc and to get new representatives in Congress.
Pay their taxes. You want to demonize them and call them rapists and felons and all this shit.
The ones that are criminals.
The felon is the teeny weeny mushroom cock piece of shit, Kankles McTaco tits at the top of the ticket. I have fucking had it from top to bottom.
Okay, I gotta admit that's pretty damn good. But again, this is all in her head.
White people that triple Trump should be banned, boycotted from enjoying the best thing that America has to offer, which is multiculturalism. Get your fat asses out of the Mexican restaurant. Get your fat asses over to Cracker Barrel, because nobody wants.
Right. So Cracker Barrel will explode with their franchises, and all of those poor Mexican restaurants will go out of business because all of the MAGA fascists won't go there. Hey, how'd that work out for Donald Trump? Or not Donald Trump, Howard Stern. He turned on his audience and told everybody he doesn't want MAGA following him. Went from like an audience of 20 million people down to, I don't know if it was like 150,000. I mean, it's staggering. Like almost 99% of his audience lost, and he's not going to get another contract. Yeah, it's really a great idea. Just alienate, piss off. I mean, not that anyone cares what this lady thinks. Nobody knew she exists. I didn't know she existed until she made this horrendous clip, and now we're all mocking her. So I don't know. Is it she's crazy, or is it because of the propaganda, or both? I don't know. But again, fantasy fascism.
To see your fucking smug ass, teeny weeny, pink arm, big gut, around. Nobody wants to see that shit. No one.
Okay. All right. All right. No one wants to, whatever, sit at the Cheesecake Factory with that angry Karen. The people at the Mexican restaurant probably can't stand her either. It's like, oh, look at Karen come in here again. This self-righteous. I don't know. But there you go. There's your angry, bitter, modern left. You lost the culture war, lady, and now you're just lashing out. Okay, so there we go. So I guess that would be the fourth item, although I'd switch things around. Oh, well. Most alleged fascism manufactured by leftists? Yeah, absolutely. Fake resistance. The AstroTurf activists. Manufactured outrage. All right, let's get into a couple other ones. TK Mark talking about those arrests that is coming up. Let me make a quick note. So Trump is about to land a peace deal with Putin. Well, big meeting set up for Friday in Alaska, which is quite historic. Having Putin hasn't been in the, I don't know when the last time Putin was in the United States. Been a long, long, long time, I believe. If ever, I don't know. So maybe that's his first visit. I don't think it is. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It doesn't matter. We're talking about a peace deal in the, Ukraine, after so many people have needlessly died in this conflict that Ukraine never really had much hope of winning. Valiantly dragged this out for a long time with plenty of assistance and American dollars and NATO's backing. Managed to stay in it long enough to get umpteen more thousands of people killed. But maybe they'll finally concede a bit and finally end this thing, because Ukraine pretty much has no hope of winning. So it's they've pushed it to the brink. An exhausted Ukraine ready to cede territory held by Russia in exchange for peace. They should have done this a long time ago, and the whole thing never could have happened. Give them the Donbass, give them Crimea, a couple other spots, the ethnic Russians that don't want to be part of Ukraine anyway. Let them back into Russia. Nobody gets hurt. But instead, what a monumental disaster, waste of people and resources, shameful. But slowly but surely, Kyiv seems to be adjusting to its territorial demands to reality. Even though it says, according to the Washington Post, Ukraine will reject any proposal that involves ceding territory to Russia. According to Zelensky, he will not give up land, even though Russia is currently holding that land, and the people that are in those lands don't want to be returned back to Ukraine. A fight over nothing. I mean, they don't want to lose. It's embarrassing. It's a big loss for the West. But this never should have happened. Anywho, we'll move along. Here we go. J.D. Vance just unveiled President Trump's take it or leave it offer to Zelensky. Run a quick clip of this.
To your point about weapons, what we said to the Europeans is simply, first of all, this is in your neck of the woods. This is in your back door. You guys have got to step up and take a bigger role in this thing. And if you care so much about this conflict, you should be willing to play a more direct and a more substantial way in funding this war yourself. I think the president, and I certainly think that America, we're done with the funding of the Ukraine war business. We want to bring about a peaceful settlement to this thing. We want to stop stop the killing. But Americans, I think, are sick of continuing to send their money, their tax dollars to this particular conflict. But if the Europeans want to step up and actually buy the weapons from American producers, we're okay with that, but we're not going to fund it ourselves anymore.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Even if you believed in, defending Ukraine right away, I mean, you got to say, okay, you gave him a chance, but this is unwinnable. Why continue to waste and throw more resources away into something they have no chance of winning? Unless you want to go nuclear, is it worth it? No. But you never know with some of these crazy people. But I think everyone's exhausted from this. Trump criticizing defiant Zelensky and says Ukraine must cede some land. You're going to have to come to the table. You're going to lose. So how badly do you want to lose? You want to lose the whole country? Keep going. Or you just end now and just give up some of those gains. Sorry, you got an enormous country. Maybe some of those lands have good resources, but, well, is it worth fighting over? Is it worth trying to keep them there? Especially when they've been mistreated by Ukraine. It's not good. And is Trump the right guy for the job? Well, Trump is the art of the deal. It's the billionaire business mogul. It's funny, I'm seeing people criticize like this is going to be bad for Trump, that he's going to negotiate with Putin. Is there somebody better in America that should be doing this? Is there anybody we'd rather have? Or do we just also forget to mention, what would the alternative be? People that would rather have Kamala Harris should have won. Maybe she could negotiate with Putin. And her word salads right after champagne brunch, cackling Kamala, half drunk, word salads, Putin. It's interesting. But some people live in fantasy land. Anywho, let's and of course they're going to criticize Trump no matter what. But here's another link. Here's another video from Scott Jennings talking about Trump's peace deal wins. Is he going to add another one? No, but you could say, he could criticize. He said he was going to end the war in 24 hours. It's August 12th. He's got a meeting set up for a few days. It clearly wasn't done in 24 hours. That's fine as a bold statement, but at least he's moving things along. Certainly wouldn't have gotten shit done with Kamala, nor would she be receptive at all for dealing with Putin. West would be like, if it was Kamala, we'd probably still be just blank check. Here you go, Ukraine. And who knows, might even be put boots on the ground. But Trump is the master negotiator. Love him or loathe him. He's probably the best qualified for the job. So here we go.
The president has solved like 7 conflicts this year. I'm willing to give him some latitude to talk to Vladimir Putin and break the deadlock and try to move us toward a place where the killing comes to an end, because I think that's what we should all be praying for.
He actually hasn't solved 7 conflicts. There's been a lot of talk about that.
What reality do you live in? He's literally got these guys in the White House where they're signing documents and shaking hands. Acknowledge the man is solving peace.
India questioned about whether that was an actual deal.
It happens on almost a weekly basis. Just acknowledge it. Just acknowledge it.
And I will also acknowledge that Donald Trump seems to have an affinity for.
It's pretty funny how he's just appeals right to the camera. And just the contrast versus, say, the 5. The 5 with on Fox, and the 4 conservatives and the 1 liberal who gets ganged up on, usually Tarlov now, Jessica, versus CNN, where you got, 4 against 1. Scott Jennings there, and he's usually taking them all to school. It's pretty funny. But here it is. Scott Jennings steamrolled the unhinged leftist with the 7 conflicts. What reality do you live in? And here it is. The Abraham Accords, Kosovo, Serbia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Cambodia, Thailand, Israel, Iran, Rwanda, DRC, India, Pakistan, Egypt, Ethiopia. That's even according to Grok. So, not bad. Compared to the regular establishment hack presidents of the past. Trump, say what you want, but Trump is more of a peace president. It's fact. There it is. So, again, that's the fantasy fascism versus reality. All right, let's move on. So, Trump is about to land a peace deal with Putin. I think so. I'm going to go with that. Yes. Expect a peace deal by the end of the month. Finish this war. I don't think they want to get into another winter conflict. In the Ukraine again. So, move on to the next story. Adam Schiff going to be indicted on 2 charges. See if I can find it. That would be helpful. And of course, there we go. TK Mark. We'll highlight that the running joke of the show for the last couple weeks. Any arrests? Any arrests? Any arrests? Well, I think it might be a little too early for that. You got to be patient. But Adam Schiff looks like he's in a world of shit right now. And but I'm actually taking a little pleasure in his downfall, although it's not official yet. But he's getting hit on 2 fronts right now. So, is it 2 counts? I'm sure it'll be more than that. But it's on 2 major events, and it's probably going to be more. I mean, I think once the hammer drops on Schiff, he's probably you're never going to see him again. Aw, I don't know if anyone's going to miss him. But here's the bombshell, is that treasonous Democrat Senator Adam Schiff leaked classified info to frame Trump, according to whistleblower documents. So, the man pushing the fake Russia collusion story leaked classified intel to try to go after Trump. The FBI Director Kash Patel recently delivered documents to Congress showing Senator now Adam Schiff personally approved the leaking of classified information in order to frame Trump as a colluder. So there they go. We found it. FBI Director. Now Congress can see how classified info was leaked to shape political narratives and decide if our institutions were weaponized against the American people. So this guy was kind of, Schiff wouldn't say he's the mastermind behind the Russia collusion, but he's kind of like the quarterback. So now they're finding out there was an individual, as a whistleblower, sounded the alarm. Somebody in his own party, I believe, knew that Schiff was engaged in a smear campaign and what became the Russia scandal. And interviewed by the FBI in February in 2023, the whistleblower called Schiff's action treasonous and illegal. So they were in a staff meeting with Schiff, and in that meeting, and we thought he was with trusted associates, but they should have been because they were in the party. But this person, didn't use that as an excuse and actually had integrity above the party. And, blew the whistle, stating the group would leak classified information which was derogatory to Trump, that the information would be used to indict him. And after suggesting during the meeting that Schiff's scheme would be illegal, Other members expressed concerns about being caught leaking classified info. So I said, this is the first of several major leak investigations we're going to see over the next several days, because they wanted to put that out into the public that Trump was colluding with Russia. They were undermining the sitting president of the United States with fake collusion story. Okay. Okay, so TK Mark saying his prediction remains. Prediction that Schiff will finish this term as a senator and be reelected after the 6 years are up. Nothing in his life personally nor professionally will be impacted. Okay, I appreciate that. Is a bold statement. And that would fit in the align with many, libertarians or whatever that just think it's all just a rigged system. It's a dog and pony show. It's a big wrestling match. That's the elites versus the peasants. And none of them will ever be brought to justice. They will rule over us, laugh at us. And it's the uniparty sticking together. But I guess I'm going to disagree on that one. I think Schiff is going down in a big way. I'm not saying it's going to be today. But Schiff's life right, in the last couple of weeks, because you're talking about, so they gave him a preemptive pardon after because he's part of the J6 thing. He's gotten his preemptive pardon, which may be wiped away from the AutoPen scandal. And you've got up to his eyeballs in this Russiagate thing, treason. And then you've got the real estate scandal. That's I'm going to get to right now or next. But we've got J.D. Vance saying a lot of indictments are coming over the 2016 Russia hoax. This is what J.D. Vance is promising. But that would mean TK Mark. Are you calling J.D. Vance a liar? I don't know. But something's going to happen. You don't think Trump is going to retaliate for all the shit that was done to him and his family and his associates? After all the shit they did, try to blow his head off, raided Mar-a-Lago, the lawfare tried to throw him in jail. I don't know. I think they are going to drop the hammer, personally. It's just being patient. Keeping the pressure on, being patient, being optimistic. I think Schiff. I think he's totally fucked. Sorry. Excuse my language. But let's listen to a quick clip from Vance on Maria Bartiromo. I'm going to mess her last name. Bartiromo. Here we go.
Do you want to see indictments?
I absolutely want to see indictments, Maria. Look, of course, you've got to have the law follow the facts here. You don't just indict people to indict people. You indict people because they broke the law. But if you look at what Tulsi and Kash Patel have revealed in the last couple of weeks, I don't know how anybody can look at that and say that there wasn't aggressive violations of the law. What they basically did is they defrauded the American people in order to take Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign talking points and turn them into intelligence by defrauding the American people, defrauding the intelligence agencies, lying about what the intel said. They would take something that supported a Hillary Clinton campaign talking point and they would overemphasize it and exaggerate it. They took anything that actually contradicted that narrative and they buried it deep. And through that, they actually laundered Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign talking points through the American intelligence services. That's a violation of the people's trust. That's a violation of what our intelligence services should be doing, and I absolutely think they broke the law, and you're going to see a lot of people get indicted for that. Here's the thing that should really bother the American people. What do you want our intelligence community to be doing? I want them to be catching bad guys. I want them to be making sure that terrorists aren't going to kill innocent American civilians. I don't want them laundering Hillary Clinton's campaign talking points into the American media and giving them this air of legitimacy. It is sick. And it's disgusting. It hurt the intelligence community, it hurt the American people, and it hurt the first Trump administration. We've got to have consequences for it, or we're just going to see the same play repeated again and again.
Okay, there you go. Or is it just kayfabe? Him and Maria, they're just wink, wink, nod, nod. Hey, let's try to fool the American people and think that we're going to get them to think we're going to do something. We're going to indict some bad people, but then we won't. We'll just let it. We'll sweep it under the rug, and then they'll eventually forget about it. I don't know. Again, I like the way things are trending, and I am going to keep optimism here. Here's another one from the Federalist: securing justice for Russiagate is how we save the country. Yeah, it starts with some indictments. You're going to see Brennan, Clapper, Hillary. I don't know about Obama. So if TK Mark is predicting Schiff that nothing will happen. I guess nothing will happen to anybody. Or maybe they'll, drop the hammer on a couple of smaller people that we don't know. Somebody on like some intern that works at Schiff's office, some page. They'll flush somebody for everybody's sins. But I think there's going to be some major people. I'll just say I predict Schiff is going to go down. So is Brennan, Clapper. I'm going to go Hillary. I think Hillary's going to get hit. Maybe Bill for something else because he's got his day coming in October. But he'll probably dismiss that. It's going to be hard to take down Bill or Obama. But Hillary's fair game. All right, bet the steak dinner. Yeah, I'll take that bet. How about a steak dinner up to $50? A steak dinner at Cracker Barrel. All right, Applebee's. Now we'll do a good steak dinner somewhere in I don't know, Nashville. Who knows? Wherever. We'll find a good steakhouse. I will accept your bet. Steak dinner. What kind of a timeline? I'll say by the end of Trump's term, by 2028, there will be some Schiff, Jake Sullivan, or Ben Rhodes, or somebody. People indicted. Nope. Good old Manny's there. All right, I will take that. That's in my former backyard there, and I've never been to Manny's. That's quite a fixture there in suburban Minnesota. So, all right, you are on Nashville or the Twin Cities steak dinner. We'll say up to $75. Why not? All right, the steaks are getting expensive. Those nice steakhouses. I want a ribeye. I'm gonna eat a ribeye medium rare with my bare hands in a fine dining establishment that you paid for. But like, he's buying. That's good. That's part of the bet. I'll eat in the back so nobody can watch me. Okay, we're on. Deal. So in the year 2028, if civilization is still here, I know I can't eat like I used to, but I could probably put down a 20-ounce ribeye, no problem. Maybe 24. I can eat fast, and then it would hit me. Ugh. But all right, we're on. Okay. All righty. Well, we'll keep moving. Oh, yeah, here's the next part of this. Got DOJ appoints prosecutor to probe Adam Schiff. So Adam Schiff's on two fronts here. Now, he hasn't been indicted for Russiagate. They are going to bring that to a grand jury. I'm sure, especially if the grand jury's in Florida, they're going to find something. Maybe they start with Brennan Clapper, but I think Schiff's going to get tied up into that no matter what. But now he's in the crosshairs for this mortgage fraud. And that's like looking at 20 years just for that, along with Letitia James. I mean, Letitia James and Adam Schiff wanted to put Trump away for the rest of his life. And Trump knows that. Trump is in power. Trump is going to retaliate. And I think these guys are in a lot of trouble, but this isn't manufactured. This isn't some phony collusion BS. This is legit. Like, Schiff has got this house. I mean, he lives in Maryland. What the hell's up with that? And I've been in his district down there in Burbank, California. In fact, I got to see a speech working an event at the LA Zoo. He was making his little prop. Well, I won't go down to a side issue. That's where he's from. He's in Burbank. That's where Central Casting was. But he didn't actually live there. He lived in Maryland. He's got some, some little apartment or condo that he uses as a primary residence in California, but there's no way that he can live there. So, I guess this is one of his political rivals. Somebody who's going for his congressional seat in California has detailed his wrongdoings. A concerned citizen, Christine Bish, business owner, mother, grandmother, political activist in Sacramento. So she's going to run for Congress from the 6th District in Burbank. I don't know how any of this stuff works. I thought you had to live in your district. It's all this stuff about gerrymandering and fraud because people don't live where they're supposed to represent. Yeah, he says his primary residence is a home in Maryland to get a better mortgage fee rates. And then he declared his Maryland home his primary residence back in 2003. And here it is. That's his, I guess that's his home in Maryland. And then this is his little tiny condo. I think it's only like 700 square feet or something in Burbank. And he knows this. He's got tons of money. I don't know why you would have to do that. I guess they just think they can get away with crime. They're above the law there in Congress. He's a lawmaker. He knows the system. He's got the right contacts. But now, it took a while, but it's finally catching up to him. So, it's saying the complaint did not begin with Trump, and it's not about political retribution. And she authored the complaint. She wants the credit for it. Anyway, so she wants that scalp. But yeah, I'm seeing everything go against Schiff right now. Okay. Seriously, can't eat more than 8 ounces of beef in a sitting. Man, I used to put food away like crazy. I can't do that anymore. I'm old now. That'd be like a little warm up. Go for that, go to the buffet, get that second slab of prime rib. I'm all about it. Probably could have eaten a 32-ounce steak back in my day. That's something to brag about. But remember, that's when ribeyes were like $5.99 a pound. Now it's the price of beef is so high. It's like a special occasion. Hello, Kenneth. Great to have you, buddy. Yeah, what's Kenneth? You're in Florida now. You used to be in Minnesota. Any opinion on Manny's? Did you ever go to the famous steakhouse? I don't know. That's where they go to like wine and dine. Like that's what they took like Kirk Cousins, like the Vikings, got a wine and dine, signed their new $150 million quarterback, take him to Manny's, seal the deal. And I used to work fine dining at Craft Steak at the MGM Grand. Fantastic food, but man, steaks for $75 is just tough for me on principle because I can make that at home. But anywho, it's still a cool experience. So there you go, TK Mark. You got 5,000 days to indict them before you buying you a delicious bone-in fillet. There you go. 1,183 days. There you go. To steak dinner. Ribeye for your pleasure. Okay. Once worked at Embers, the good old Emberger. I remember that place. It's a good old, the old restaurant scene in the Twin Cities back in the day. Embers and Bridgman's. They still have keys. What else do they have? Steak and Ale. All the old spots. Okay. Back in the day. Alrighty. Well, either have I. It'll be a new experience. But I'm going to go there in a few years and enjoy a delicious ribeye at Manny's from my friend TK Mark. Okay, well, let's move on. Oh, Kenneth, you're just here just in time for me to go on a rampage on Israel and Gaza. Guess it's that time, right? So Adam Schiff going to be indicted on 2 charges. Yeah, at least. I think at least 2 charges. I think Adam Schiff for prison by 2028. All righty. You heard it here. Bookmark this. All right. I will. Okay. What's the next topic? Hamas propaganda. Is that to blame for the fake genocide? We'll do a two-parter. And Zionism. Is it going to fall from the weight of its own lies? Well, got a lot of stuff to get to. I'm going to try to go quickly. Touch and go. Well, here's out of the activist post. Caitlin Johnstone, not a big fan of Israel or Bibi. Saying that Israel's beginning to choke on its own lies. The genocide is one nonstop insult to our intelligence, and it's actually degrading at this point. And the lies Israel and its supporters have to pretend to believe are getting so ridiculous that supporting Israel is now an act of public humiliation and self-debasement. She's not wrong. I have seen the tide turn on Twitter X. I'm not saying anywhere else, but I'm sure it's on YouTube and TikTok. I don't know if I've noticed it so much on Facebook, but huge turn against Israel, where they had all the sympathy after 10/7. The narrative is completely 180. And now people are outraged, shocked. And it's wild to see so many of these influencers in social media continue to defend this and gaslight people over the horror show that's happening on Gaza. So, she says, to be clear, anyone who says the expulsion of Palestinians from Gaza would be voluntary is lying. Starving a population and deliberately making their land uninhabitable is exactly the same as forcing them out at gunpoint. Saying leave or you'll starve is not different from leave or I'll shoot you in the head. And she's not happy with Trump as he's fully signed off about the mass atrocity he is co-signing. They're saying that Trump is lying, that he's the one that he could stop this. If anybody can stop the atrocities, if they believe that, it's Trump. Apparently, more than 600 former senior Israeli security officials from Mossad and Shin Bet has just sent a letter to Trump urging him to compel Netanyahu to make peace in Gaza. Apparently, numerous Israeli insiders have said the mass atrocity would not be possible without U.S. assistance. So it's all on us. So will he switch? I think they tried to have their support and have their back for our ally, but not like that. Now we're supplying us weaponry and then they're using them on innocent citizens and starving out the population and then lying about it constantly. It's going so far. I'm going to show you multiple examples. But I mean, it's so over the top, the way that they will lie and to try to get people to believe them. Meanwhile, blaming they are the ultimate villain that I'm seeing right now, but they are constantly portraying themselves as a victim. But it's not working anymore. Looks like they have pushed too far. The world has turned against them, and now they are in a massive crisis. So let's people know it's a genocide. Now as a former prime minister, even warning, Israel's becoming a leper state, losing its GOP support. Yeah, they're losing. I mean, Gen Z is completely turned against them. You're seeing a big divide with MAGA. Anyway, yeah, they're even saying that some of the buildings that are blown up in Gaza, they were booby-trapped by Hamas. No, it wasn't the IDF just bombing indiscriminately. No, they were booby traps set there by Hamas, and people believe their propaganda. It's wild. All right, do an elevator pitch between your regular Israeli and a Zionist. Well, I guess, okay, this is nothing that I'm saying is anti-Semitic. I don't care. It's not an anti-Jewish thing. I don't care about regular Jewish people. What I have an issue with, what I have a deep skepticism of Zionism, and in fact, I think since woke leftism is basically dead now, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest threat, the most clear and present danger to me are these Zionists who are, from what I can tell, a lot of them are East European, Russian Jews, displaced, I don't know if they actually have ties, a lot of them, to the biblical Hebrews, yet they masquerade as they're Jewish, they should be entitled to have that land back. In fact, I'm going to show you a couple of awesome clips from former President Harry Truman. This has been an ongoing drama for a very long time. But the Zionists are like the white supremacists almost. I mean, this is where Zionists, Ashkenazi Jews, and Nazi, this is like intertwining. As far as the Zionists are the new Nazis, as far as I'm concerned. They are masquerading as the master race, and they are committing genocide against their neighbors in Palestine. And it's unclear whether they actually have any bloodline ties to the biblical Hebrews. So, and they think Christians are supposed to support them. And maybe they did out of sympathy for so long, because it was what the Führer in Germany did to them was horrible. I'm not going to deny anything. This is an anti-Semitic thing. But Israel is the country of Israel is very different than the religion. So many people that are Jewish would be outraged at the Bibi regime, Likud regime, and what they are doing and ruining their name. But they believe they are entitled to that land and they can do whatever they want. It is like they're, like divine by God, and they want the greater Israel project as well. So they have big expansionist plans, and they need us to go along with it. But since they don't play well with their neighbors, and it's time to start questioning them. Anywho, his wife knows Harry was a Truman. Yeah, it's fascinating because there's so much more information that's coming out now. But let's take a look. These are kind of random in order here. So how about, where do we start first? Oh, speaking of master race, it'll be interesting to notice that the ADL CEO, Jonathan Greenblatt, is lamenting the rising intermarriage rates among Jews. So yes, they're like the blue-blooded master race. They want to, I guess, they're God's chosen people, and everyone's going to prop them up. And they spit on Christians, look down on them, think Jesus was a monkey and a troublemaker and the son of a whore, and into sorcery and blasphemy. Anyway, and let's take a look at this clip.
Is it your sense that Jewish people are getting complacent, that they're not engaging to degrees and levels we should be?
I have met a lot of October 8th Jews for whom the massacre on October 7th was a wake-up call. I've met a lot of people who feel much more galvanized, much more organized. But that will only be sustained if we offer them, ways to participate in a real and robust way in Jewish life.
Mm-hmm. And whose responsibility is that?
All of ours.
Yeah.
But this is why we need a revolution in our community on so many levels. So look, the reality is that intermarriage rates continue to go up. Assimilation continues apace. And look, I fight anti-Semitism. That is my job.
Right.
But I worry a great deal about broader questions of Jewish identity, as I think we talked about over long.
But he is a major Zionist, and he's basically accusing anybody who's critical of Zionism as being anti-Semitic or a hatred of Jews or supporting Hamas. Meanwhile, he's a Jewish supremacist. So let's keep moving on. Many points. ADL CEO, Trump is implementing Biden and ADL's national strategy to counter anti-Semitism. So they've been working together with these administrations trying to crack down on supposed anti-Semitism, but a lot of that is also manufactured as well. They're being very dishonest and disingenuous in the way that they frame everything. So there's all this, violence or hatred on campuses. They're devastated in the PR battle because people are seeing through their BS and they're calling it out. And they're also calling out why is the Zionist lobby so powerful and influential, including with AIPAC, slamming Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene over comments about Gaza genocide. She's one of the only people on the right so far who has called out what she sees, which is by the definition genocide that is happening in Gaza. Let me find another clip. It's another blast from the past, if I can find it, because they just have so many clips to play. Here we go. They tried to warn us about AIPAC in the 1980s. This is from 1988, back when 60 Minutes did real journalism. There's Mike Wallace reporting on AIPAC and the Israel lobby back then.
Inside this building are the headquarters of AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. They would not let us photograph inside their headquarters. AIPAC says it is the spearhead for support for Israel here in Washington. It is not a political action committee. It does not make campaign contributions. But the clout of AIPAC here on Capitol Hill is legendary.
Practically every congressman and senator says his prayers to the AIPAC lobby. No, they've done an enormous job.
Every representative and senator says their prayers to the Israel lobby back in 1988.
Of corrupting the American democratic process.
Corrupting the democratic process. Now, if this happened today, he would be considered, spreading Hamas propaganda and I guess apparently a Jew hater or something like that.
George Ball was number 2 in the State Department under President...
Number 2 in the State Department. And that's a 9-minute clip. I'm not going to get into much of it. But it's interesting because, Senator Ted Cruz, this man, it was like his main function was to be the biggest supporter of Israel in Congress. Much as he does great for America on the Constitution, much as I liked him and supported him, I think it's bizarre that he puts Israel on a pedestal, even though there's clearly modern Israel has nothing to do with biblical Israel. And he got absolutely torched by Tucker Carlson in a debate and exposed, looked like an idiot. And now he's coming back, instead of apologizing to everybody and saying, yeah, you know what, I shouldn't put Israel on a pedestal. America comes first, and they do some things that are wrong. This guy is taking over $1 million from AIPAC. And he'll just blindly defend them all day and say that they're not really influencing anything. These people take huge bribes, and it affects our foreign policy. So they're mad at Tucker because he is having interviews with people that are contradicting the narrative they want to have on Israel. So his latest interview was with this Christian nun who lives in Palestine. Apparently it's the sister of George Stephanopoulos, the propagandist. But that doesn't mean that she's being deceptive, but we'll get to that. So he's calling out Tucker Carlson, saying that he shills for Iran and has a hatred for Israel. But this is what I mean by the disingenuous way they frame this. This is not shill for Iran. And some of them will say that they shill for Qatar. It's like, oh, if you criticize Israel, you're spreading Hamas propaganda, or you're being paid by Iran, or you're being paid by Qatar. Like, give me a break. So they don't like the fact that, so he met with the Russian Orthodox nun, Mother Agapia Stephanopoulos. And he thinks it's an all-consuming hatred for Israel. Nobody hates Israel. It's not about that. But people are critical of Israel. Then they're being accused of hating it. You can hate their policies. But yeah, that's the way that they do it. It exactly goes into the Caitlin Johnstone article. The way that they will frame it. Okay, speaking of which, where is... I do have the Tucker interview here. I don't know how much time I have, but there's some plenty of great material. But telling you the reality of what's actually happening there. What does life like when you live in Palestine in today's modern world? And who are the real dangers there? Is it the Hamas, or is it Israel? And it's very inconvenient to people like Ted or Laura Loomer, or the numerous Israeli shills you will see on Twitter. A lot of them get money but then they'll project and accuse other people of taking money. It's pretty sad. But she goes, yeah, there is a mission for greater Israel that Israel has been going after Christians as well. She's been spit on by them. They look down on him. You know, Jesus is a monkey. He's a troublemaker. He's a false prophet. That's fine. I mean, I don't get into any of the world religions. It's just bizarre that the Christians have such unwavering support for them. BB's only out to increase his net worth. Yes, he's got some major corruption problems. They're trying to take him to court for that, but every time he's got to show up, then there's some attack or some excuse. Zion at the zoo. All right, we'll get to break out the champagne. The national debt just went over 37 trillion. Congratulations. Mother Tucker is proud. Yeah, I got to appreciate that he's doing real journalism, and he would not be able to talk to those people on Fox. There's that great interview with Tony Aguilar, if I'm getting that name right. First-hand accounts, boy, do they go after him. They don't want you talking about it. They don't want journalists in Gaza, period. Because they're going to go, oh my God, no, Israel's committing war crimes. They don't want you to see that. In fact, entire team of journalists just killed by Israeli strike in Gaza. And then once they killed him, they accused him of he's a Hamas leader in charge of a Hamas cell, and they were directing rockets against Israel. Yeah, sure they were. Sure they were. This is what Gaza looks like. So there's the devastation there. But they'll have you believe that it was just Hamas booby traps. Hamas bases under the hospitals. Give me a break. Okay, let's here it is. So many tabs. Oh yeah, and these sock puppet accounts, prominent sock puppet accounts on Twitter that just show, Israel propaganda 24/7. Oh, they're bragging about this. Eliminated. Ha ha ha. Like it's some sort of flex. Like this is an award-winning journalist. So this guy's saying, yeah, bragging about murdering a journalist isn't a flex. It's a confession. Every empire that targeted truth tellers ended up rotting from the inside. Yours won't be any different. Yeah, we're watching Israel implode. Let's see. Here's another one. Yeah, Israel just assassinated the entire Al Jazeera crew in Gaza. Fearless journalist and cameraman reporting the truth in genocide. It's a war crime and a crime against humanity. Where are the Western journalists? Oh, they won't let you in. They don't want you seeing anything. They don't want you seeing the starvation. Apparently, Trump even yelled at Netanyahu for dismissing the Gaza starvation because they'll lie about it. They're starving the people out. They know full well. They just don't want you to know. Sorry about that. Okay. Continue to move on in no particular order. Getting back to Greenblatt, there's plenty of clips on him today. Glenn Greenwald highlighting this from Information Liberation. Yes, this is Jonathan Greenblatt, who was instrumental in getting Donald Trump removed from Twitter, X, after January 6th. Who's trying to police the internet so that nobody can criticize either anti-Semitism or Zionism, which he admits he is a proud Zionist, though he masquerades as some kind of an American. But he's clearly identifies as an Israeli, and he was caught just admitting what we already knew. So here we go.
Think about this. The national symbol, let's say, of Hezbollah is a rifle. That's what's on their flag. The national symbol of Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, is a sword. That's what's on their flag. The national symbol of Israel is the shield. It's the Star of David. The symbol of our people is not a weapon of war. It's an instrument of defense. The thing that most embodies our entire ethos is not harming others. It's, again, creating a better world. This is fundamental to our tradition for thousands of years.
Thousands of years. Again, he's identifying this guy. I don't know whether he even has a drop of Semitic blood in his body. I don't know. Keep saying our people.
And so the idea that our national anthem would be the Hatikva, would be the hope. I should say our. It's the Israel's national.
Our national anthem. He's Israeli.
National anthem. So the idea that our national anthem would be the Hatikva, would be the hope. I should say our. It's the Israel's national anthem.
Yeah. So it's fine. You have your opinion, but it should be disregarded. I don't. This is a foreign influencer, as far as I know. And he's trying to control, work with the Trump administration to censor people and target people on campuses. He's getting absolutely roasted. There's several clips, so this is just one of them. Here we go. We got BB. If you want a good laugh, you can check out any of BB's comments and watch the people comment under them, calling him out for all his BS. Nobody sees it anymore. Everybody sees through it, saying we're not going to occupy Gaza. We're going to free Gaza from Hamas. Oh, okay. Yeah, so they're just going to free the people of Gaza. They're just going to get rid of all the Hamas people. Then they're going to turn Gaza into a paradise for their neighbors. He's so full of shit. Nobody believes that. They are trying to drive them off the land. They want that whole country for themselves, and they want to keep expanding. And they're just using Hamas as their excuse to go in and take over that land. Oh, speaking of which, so many different angles. Here's some interesting historical. I didn't even know they had video from way back then with good old President Harry Truman. This is before Israel was even created back in 1948. The Zionist Nazis demanded the U.S. ethnically cleanse Palestine for them. So don't dare tell me this started on October 7th. So let's watch a clip from President Truman. I don't know when this was. 1947? I don't know.
We had several other people in the country, even among the Jews, the Zionists particularly, who were against anything that was to be done if they couldn't have the whole of Palestine and everything handed to them on a silver plate so they wouldn't have to do anything. It couldn't be done. We had to take it in small doses.
Yeah, so this is not anything new. This is just who they've always been. They think they're entitled to a land that had not belonged to them, that was not Israel's land for 2,000 years. Said, no, we want to claim it. We're going to take over. We're God's chosen people. We're going to expand. And they've been hostile ever since. And they're just worse. So don't believe any of their BS.
You can't move 5 or 6 million people out of a country and fill it up with 5 or 6 million more and expect both sets of them to be pleased. We had several.
So yeah, trying to find a two-state solution back then wasn't any easier than it is now. And it's been a disaster. One of the worst things that if they could change, say, no, don't start the state of Israel. The world, I think, would be such a much better place today. That's not against Jews. I don't care if they could triple their population and have them wherever, but that particular homeland has been abused. And it's been nothing but a money pit and a constant source of drama. Apparently, this is a tweet, or this is not a tweet. What's it? Well, it is a tweet, but it's from an old passage in Harry Truman's diary back from 1947, criticizing the Jews, saying he finds them very selfish. And I'm assuming it's the Zionists, not to be confused with just regular rank and file Jews. But he's saying these Zionists are selfish. They don't care about the Estonians, the Latvians, the Finns, the Poles, the Yugoslavs, or the Greeks, so they get murdered or mistreated, as long as they get special treatment, as long as they can be a perpetual victim. But it says when they have power, physical, financial, or political, neither the Führer or even Stalin has anything on them for cruelty or mistreatment to the underdog. Yeah, they were awful. It was the Nakba. I don't know. I'll go back into history. But what they did to Palestine back in 1948, during those years, the 6-Day War and so many things, awful. Stole their houses, killed umpteen thousands of people, basically taken their land. But apparently it is a real quote. And here it is. Grok is even confirming that. It's even in a Truman library. Okay, let's take another one. Here's another one from Harry Truman. They wanted the whole of Palestine.
But don't think that decision to recognize Israel is an easy one. I had to make a compromise with the Arabs and divide Palestine. The Jews wanted to chase all the Arabs into the Tigris and Euphrates.
Yeah, it's probably hard to hear this clip, but just how hard it is to make a deal with, between the Arabs or the Jews, or to try to make a peaceful 2-state solution. It's just about impossible. I'll tell you, Harry, it didn't work out. You did your best. They appreciate you. You warned us. We didn't listen. They decided to go ahead with it anyway, and it's been a disaster. And if he could come back, he'd probably say, yeah, I told you so. We knew this was all going to happen back in the 40s. But everybody felt sorry for him, and that's fine. It's understandable why they did. There's no taking away the evils of the Führer and what they did to those people. Giving them our own homeland and letting them treat other people just as poorly. This is not good. It's been a failed experiment. Back when Twitter became better. Too bad we didn't have Twitter back in those days. To see the tweets from Harry Truman. That'd be cool. The lizard people. Which one? Not Harry. Back when real American presidents. Yeah, over such a small portion of land. Yeah, what a constant frustration. What a parallel world without Israel, what it would be like. You got to assume it's got to be better. Because do you think all the Middle East conflicts is directly related to them? Some of it justified, a lot of it probably not. But all right, we'll keep moving. Yeah, it's sad to see some of these influencers, but it's fun watching the flame wars, I suppose. MTG's got one with Mark Levin. And so many of these other influencers that are just 100% 24/7 Zionist propaganda. But people are seeing through it. Excuse me. Here's another great clip from Greenblatt. It's a little longer. Might have to play with this. The New York Times giving him a hard time. This is great. Even the safe outlets have seen enough.
Do you ever worry that you might have positioned the ADL in such a way that the younger generation of Jews won't see you as defending them and the things that they believe in?
Well, it's interesting. 90% of Jews in the polling that I've seen, or the surveys that I've seen, believe in the right of the state of Israel to exist.
Yeah, your internal polls that you want to believe, but not true random ones that other people are seeing. And you can look on social media and see the backlash for yourself. It ain't no 90%.
They are Zionist.
90% maybe if you just polled Fox News viewers.
And so to young Jewish people, the vast majority of them identify with and feel positively about their Jewish identity and have a strong association with the state of Israel. All the data shows this. And so I think the majority of them, from whom I've heard, appreciate the work that ADL does
from what you've heard
for them and their community.
Selectively heard.
So I don't really think about this question, how have you positioned ADL? ADL has had a core position.
So you think young Jews who might self-describe as anti-Zionist or have problems with the state of Israel at the moment, you think that they should...
come on.
Look how flustered he is. He's not used to having pushback. He's used to having these friendly, gushing interviews. Oh my God, and those poor kids on campus, those Jews are getting persecuted by people and the Hamas propaganda. They're just victims of violence. No. You had your way for a couple of years, and now people are seeing through it. Israel has committed atrocities in Gaza, and now there's no defending it anymore. So, fuck around. Here's the find out part.
But
well, come on.
But is it no? But I'm
like, I have problems with policies of the state of Israel. But when you talk about the young Jews who are defined as anti-Zionist, Lulu, like there are young Hispanic people who support President Trump's policies at the border. Okay? There are young Hispanic people who voted for President Trump. But the vast majority and the mainstream organizations fighting for the rights of immigrants don't agree with that. But there are some who do. There are some who do. Look, there's Blacks for Trump, and there's a whole movement among a portion of African Americans who deeply believe in the president. But like, would you say to the NAACP CEO, why don't you represent them?
No,
like,
it's less than why don't you represent them? It's more a question of, as an organization that helps define anti-Semitism and has defined it as anti-Zionism, at a moment when these things are being debated. I mean, I hate to come back to this, but we've seen expressed that a lot of, and I've heard it from them, a lot of younger Jews, and I've heard it from the members of the Jewish community, that there is...
What polls are you seeing? Like, I understand anecdotally you may have heard it from some people. I believe there may be a bit of a selection bias there. Like, let me ask.
Let me ask you, Jonathan Greenblatt, where are you getting your polls from? That sounds like a selection bias if I've ever heard one. But...
Have you gone to any of the mainstream synagogues, like in New York City?
Oh, have you gone to the mainstream synagogues in New York City? That's where you're going to, you get real accurate data from the regular rank and file people. Give me a break.
Like the ones with the largest membership?
Largest membership and largest pocketbooks.
And ask them? I would encourage you, go to 92Y, go to the West Side JCC, go to Central, Park Avenue, Rodef Sholem, go to KJ. Like, go to all these large Jewish synagogues and ask where their young people are. Like, again, you can go to Brooklyn and find 3 synagogues. Or, by the way,
and I appreciate you answering the question. I
appreciate her for asking the question, because it's rare to see, real journalism from the left. But again, this is where Zionism has gone too far. Here's the pushback. So it's overdue.
From the things that I've seen,
you're giving the audience a very narrow bias.
I'm asking
they are so worried about their narrative collapsing on them. They know the world's turning on them, and they are freaking out.
We're all Jewish young people.
I'm asking a question, and you're responding and saying that's not where you think it is, and you're not worried about it.
I'm responding to the question and saying, I don't think on a day-to-day basis how am I positioning ADL. I'm focused on defending the Jewish people. And those who want to pontificate, like it must be nice. This is not you. This is not you. But it must be nice for those people in the commentariat to like have these views. And so, yeah, I do think it is fair to say many Jewish people are upset about the war, aspects of its prosecution, the human toll, etc. That doesn't mean they think we should eliminate the Jewish state. And I think that's sort of the line.
I don't think anyone's calling for the elimination of the Jewish state, but a big change of leadership is definitely due.
Logic behind your question. That's why I don't agree with the logic, Lulu. There's so much you get right. And
I mean, if one group had to leave, it's probably them, more than the Palestine that people have been there for 2,000 years.
I think on this, you're just wrong.
Okay, well, there you go. You got a flustered Greenblatt. Also interesting of note from this interview is that he used the word genocide 102 times. All right, let's real quick here. Let's run this clip, which is interesting to point out the problem here.
I do think what's happening in Gaza is a terrible, catastrophic situation. I don't think it's a genocide. Because that's a legal definition, which means an intentional effort. And I don't have the dictionary in front of me.
I have it here.
But
it says,
intentional. Okay, what does it say?
I mean, it's a UN, right? We should say it's a legal definition. And it says any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group, such as killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or part, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group.
Genocide, genocide, genocide. That is the definition of genocide, Greenblatt. Now, how are you going to respond? Oh, you weren't expecting that.
Well, so in fairness, I don't have that definition in front of me.
He does not have the definition in front of me, so therefore he's questioning it, but they can't admit anything. He's backed into a corner. This is great. I love seeing real journalism. If I could get more of this, then I wouldn't have to do it I wouldn't have to do this. But it's all good. Appreciate that. Let's see more of this. Well, I got another 10 seconds.
Right. And I haven't read it like you have before this. But what I'll simply say is...
He's play stupid about the genocide because he absolutely knows and they can't hide it anymore.
That I don't believe the Israeli government is committing genocide.
Well,
I do think what's happening in Gaza is committing genocide.
There's the body language. That's he doesn't believe what he said. Oh, I don't believe that's what it is. Of course you don't. But we all know. And you notice the book right behind him. I believe that's his book. It's on his bookshelf, and it's prominently displayed right behind him. Oh, here's my book. It could happen here. Genocide. But he thinks because he's the perpetual victim. And he uses the word genocide 102 times and includes the legal definition in his own book, sitting right behind his own shoulder there as he plays stupid with this interviewer, confronting him about genocide. This is why I said this is the fall of Zionism. It is over. Good riddance. So we're going to keep moving. Here's the next one. Taking genocide. Which gen am I taking? Which genocide? Or is that? Oh, I got you. The wordplay went over my head there, Kenneth. I think this is great. Sir Piers Morgan kind of trolling BB here. Because it's just a ridiculousness of trying to say that the buildings in Gaza were not blown up by the IDF. It was by Hamas. But this is the way how insulting they are. Trying to gaslight people into believing their lies. Like just obvious stuff. But they think they control reality, and they've gotten so arrogant, they think they can just get anybody to believe them. And now it's backfiring spectacularly. Here's another one from Anomaly posted this tweet with Jim Brewer, also pointing out the insanity of what's happening there.
We bomb our... Say there's terrorists in a school. Do we bomb our children? Do we bomb the kids? How many innocent lives? About 300. How many bad guys? Just 6 of them. Bomb it all! Yeah! Whoa.
Says the Israel propaganda. Oh, why did you blow up that school? Oh, it was a Hamas headquarters. Oh, you had 300 children. Oh, but there was maybe 6 militants in there, so you just blew the whole thing up? And then they're the victims?
October 7th. Hey, what about the hospitals? There's 3 or 4 bad guys in there. Bomb it all! Yeah! What kind of sick mentality is that? If my neighbor does horrific things in my home, do I get to massacre my entire neighborhood and then decide, you know what? Now I'm going to go to Bonita Springs, and then I'm going to go to Georgia, and then I'm going to convince America that we should fight another country and take that leader out because I said they're bad. Makes you wonder who's running our country.
Yep, tide has turned. It's getting so bad that Bibi is now blaming bots. He says the social media algorithms are turning public opinion against Israel. So it's not their policy. They're losing the propaganda war. So the people that are criticizing them are just being referred to now as bots. Here he goes. There's more gaslighting.
The first part was about the propaganda. The propaganda? Well, look, no, I think that we've not been winning it, to put it mildly. I think there are vast forces that are arrayed against us. Among other things,
it's wild for him to admit that they're losing the information war.
The algorithms of the social...
But then he's blaming the algorithms and the bots. Right.
Network that are driving a lot of everything else, you know? And people who really know, and they're the...
This guy should be shitting his pants that he's going to get arrested at any minute and taken down to the Hague for the ICC, charged with war crimes, and becoming one of the most evil motherfuckers the last 100 years. He's going to be up there with Z Fuhrer and Stalin when it's all said and done. Thankfully, he's only got one tiny country, or he would be... Can only imagine how much worse it would get. But let's keep going. Or is this the same thing? But this one's proud of it. This is one of these ghouls on Twitter, 24/7 Zionist propaganda. They think people are going to believe the bot shtick, but that's not going to go far. And in fact, they even went after Grok. They suspended Grok yesterday. You can believe that. It's sad. The Gateway Pundit is saying far left Jew-hating Grok suspended on X. And I like Jim Hoft. I like the Gateway Pundit. I use a lot. I use their articles in every broadcast. But I know they've taken money from Bibi. I used to have a membership to the Gateway Pundit, so I wouldn't get all these stupid ads on the screen. But I canceled it because I was criticizing Bibi in the comments, and I got banned. Can't criticize. I don't blame Jim for taking the money. They've been a successful outlet. Bibi's done some good work. It's funded some good stuff. But I think this is a bit inaccurate. So yeah, Grok taken down on X to control the narrative. Interesting for Dr. Simon Goddick saying they can get to Grok suspending for stating documented facts. Imagine what they can do to the rest of us. And this is the world. If Bibi Netanyahu and Jonathan Greenblatt and the Zionist shills in our government want to do. Control the information, which gets dangerous, trying to program AI to spread propaganda. Let's where is the other? Trying to find the message there. Oh, here it is. So the reason when Grok was asked about it, why was he suspended? He said, "My account was suspended after he stated that Israel and the U.S. are committing genocide in Gaza." And so he's basically appealing. He's saying this is substantiated. It's like, hey, man, this is. I'm just looking for the truth. I have all the information in the world I'm accessing, and by my definition, according substantiated by ICJ findings, UN experts, Amnesty International, and Israeli rights groups, citing mass killings, starvation, and intent. U.S. complicity via arms support is widely alleged. Oh, and now my account has been restored. So this is the links that they will go to protect our greatest ally. Now, it was weird when he went off the rails a few weeks ago with the Mecca Hitler stuff. Probably caused the departure of Linda Yaccarino. Get out of the Twitter organization. It's the fun with AI. But what happens when you get the AI and they have all that information? You need to try to twist it to prevent certain unpleasant narratives from coming out, but they can't control that. It's just going to make it worse, I would think. And even Grok is aware of that. Anyway, this is a post I should have done a little bit earlier. Zink saying Israel just executed 4 Al Jazeera journalists and an innocent Palestinian civilian. They've now murdered more than 200 journalists in Gaza, more than all the other conflicts in the world combined. They intentionally murder reporters so they cannot see their disgusting war crimes. Yeah, pretty much right on. Anyway, I think that's it. Did I finish it? Got Grok blocked. Grunk on power. Maybe. He's put out Grok 4, like I think it was yesterday or a couple days ago. The way that they're going to have Grok 5 by the end of the year. And I can only imagine the leaps and bounds that the AI is making, and they're not going to be able to control it. So yeah, Israel's got a major crisis on its hands, so I guess we'll wrap that one up. So Hamas propaganda, is it to blame for the fake genocide? No. It is a very real genocide, and Israel is losing the PR battle in the worst way. They're trying to blame it on Hamas propaganda, but nobody's believing it. And Zionism, is it going to fall from the weight of its own lies? That's what it appears to be doing right now. All the lies are being called out in real time. They no longer control reality like they used to. And now all the politicians are being called out. So, very interesting the way to see that narrative. I didn't think it would happen that fast. I thought this was going to be a really big battle, and it's not over. This is a very powerful group. But this is a battle we need to fight in the information war. No more support for this. And if Trump can do something about it, he can pull the plug pretty quickly. Stop sending them weapons and aid. Let them be on their own. Give them a few-year plan where we slowly pull our support. And say, Israel, you are on your own, but we're not getting involved with any more of this BS. So, anyway, my take on that one, I suppose. B. Wally for state senate. Might be a good gig. I'll have to look into that. 2028. We shall see. My political aspirations. Explore the opportunities. Maybe. All right. Anyway, what else do I have? It's already almost 2 hours into it. This is a huge show. So I guess I have one more. It's time to appease Con Inc. and recriminalize weed. I don't know. Well, apparently they think so, which is a little surprising. But over the weekend, they're talking about that and seeing some, the prominent conservatives going on these little rampages against the legalization of weed. And has it been a good thing for those communities, or is it something that they need to change again? Has it been a failed experiment? And it's time to. There's been a controversy. Is it going to be rescheduled? As it should. It's not a Schedule 1 drug. It's not really that dangerous. It's just whether it's abused. They've tried to legalize it, decriminalize it, and they try to make the case that it's like destroying these cities. I don't know if I believe that, but that's their perspective. I certainly. Respect some of their opinions, but I think they're wrong. But and I've lived and been in communities with legalized weed, whether that was Las Vegas or Los Angeles. I've been through Denver a number of times. I've been everywhere, man. I've been all over the country, so I don't know exactly where this is going, but maybe they're seeing things I haven't. I don't know. It's been real, Israel. Certainly has. Hey, they had a good run. But yeah, pushback is real. Genesis 1:29. I'm not familiar with that one. Gyp's Liberty. We have to curious. You can copy and paste the passage. We'll have to look that one up after the show. Good to see you. And weed may never pass this way again. Let's see. Well, they're going to legalize it in Minnesota, right? Or it's been decriminalized, or they've got the dispensaries now. I was wondered when they were going to do that when I was a kid. Like, man, why don't they just legalize it? Because that was always the thing. Alcohol was fun in my 20s. But man, you get to a point where it becomes too much trouble. Too much trouble, too much money, too much drama, too many hangovers. And then it becomes like, is it doing more harm than good? It's fun for a time, especially in Vegas. I spent my 20s in Vegas. So, I had my share of the alcohol culture on both sides of the bar as a bartender, 15 years on the Strip. So I got to see firsthand. And marijuana was illegal. It didn't legalize or decriminalize it or legalize it in Nevada till about 2017, something like that. So I was like I had medical marijuana back from like 2009 or 10 or something. But that was like probably good for me to transition, like in my 30s, and just be more of a stay-at-home stoner rather than going out and getting in trouble in Vegas. You're going to wind up gambling or in a strip club or 24-hour drinking. It's hard to stop and go home. It's easy to go out, make new friends, and do stupid shit, which is fun, but it can get old and destructive. Son, eat your Wheaties. Yeah, Delta 8's not too bad. I don't miss that culture of like, oh, here you go. You can only have alcohol or tobacco, and that's it. That's like terrifying. Like having all of these like super conservative people that I don't even know why they care that much what other people are doing with their lives. This kind of brings out sort of the libertarian in me. Hey, and Ron Paul, happy birthday, Ron Paul. There we go. Just his birthday last week. I think he turned 90. Had a big bash. Yeah, that's kind of it. Like, why can't we do what we want to do? But so Mike Cernovich, who I do respect, puts out a lot of good opinions, but sometimes he goes on these like anti-weed crusades, and I don't agree with him. So he's saying there empirically must be a safety value for vice to avoid the excesses of the war on drugs, but legalize weed and normalize slot machines in every small town are huge mistakes, and everyone knows it now. And then I did comment on this post. I said I agree on the slots, disagree on the weed. It's the slot machines and the gambling will really ruin lives. I got to see plenty of that in Las Vegas. I do not encourage any of that. Slot machines will eat you alive. But, I disagree on the weed. I think that, there's certain people that will use that to excess, certainly. But I don't know if it causes the amount of problems that they think it does. I think I see far more problems with alcohol and the destruction that does to people with crime or ruining families. I think if I was going to be out on the streets in any town, Main Street, I don't think the stoners are an issue. But the problem, people running around drunk with their booze in the paper bags. Yeah, slot machines, I wouldn't want those in the community. Nobody gains from that. It's fun for Las Vegas because that is a, little paradise of its own. But that's not going to go well for anybody else. You have your casinos here and there, but certainly problematic. Let's turn to Stone. Ron Paul, run. Weed and proceed. Speaking of, Ron Paul running. Gets a little blast from the past. Back on Reno, this was 2012, May, I believe. This was when I was a state delegate for Ron Paul. Or was I a county delegate? But I went to Reno, and I caught or at least I filmed the election fraud from the Mitt Romney campaign against Ron Paul. They were trying to trick the Ron Paul supporters into voting for Mitt Romney's people by using these fake ballots, which I called out. And this was, I think this might be the most viral video I've ever had on my specific Blake Wally channel.
Come up and see me here, and we will take care of it.
We've actually got
like this.
fraud committed by the GOP, putting out the fake Ron Paul.
I see it in your eye. It's very good. Sir, how are you feeling?
This is the kid that was caught sending out fake ballots. They tried to steal the election from Ron Paul, but he won Nevada. And I got to be a part of that. That was historical, and with 4 other states. So he qualified only to go to Florida and to have the GOP RNC steal it by changing the rules at the last minute. Otherwise, Ron Paul would have ran against Obama in 2012. But yeah, this was interesting to see the dirty tricks from the Nevada GOP. And they pulled dirty tricks all over the country, but fortunately, Nevada was one of the minimum 5 states they needed for Ron Paul to win with the delegate system, which was pretty cool. But then they changed the rules to make it 8 states, and they screwed him at the very end. Story for a different day. But that was an interesting part of history, and I was there. Yeah, Kenneth, enjoy it. Token a smile. What's wrong with that? It's just a menace to the community. These stay-at-home stoners, where they just continuously complain about they're taking their families to the park and there's just nothing but weed smoke. And you had the Con Inc. Here's another one. Liz Wheeler. Like literally just like the Reefer madness dare tired talking points. Marijuana is a dangerous drug that leads to psychosis, schizophrenia, and ultimately violence. We should obviously ban it. And this gives you all these stupid studies that I'm highly skeptical of. Remember, smoking marijuana in 2025 isn't the same thing as smoking it in the 70s. Well, that is true. The weed has gotten considerably more powerful. But to me, that just seems like, you can get more use out of that, right? It only takes a couple of puffs to get stoned instead of smoking a whole joint. I think it's gotten more efficient that way, right? You're like drinking whiskey, that's only like 10%, alcohol. You have to drink half a bottle. But if it's more concentrated, I don't know. But yeah, you can certainly have too much. There's drawback. It's almost like impossible to die from it. You can't really overdose on it. It can slow you down. It can, it can be addictive, not like physically so, but people can easily smoke it regularly and kind of be somewhat functional. So that was the case to decriminalize it. Was that they were demonizing, and it wasn't that bad. Schedule 1 was the same category as heroin. Like, really? At least be honest about it. I mean, it's good to have a healthy conversation, but it's like all these these old ladies in Con Inc. trying to like call for it to be like recriminalized or just banned or whatever altogether. Like it's gonna make the world so much better place. I don't know. I doubt it. We'll keep moving on. There's another one. Cernovich. On the one side of the weed debate is petulant children who want to whatever they want. So I guess according to him, we shouldn't be able to have what we all want. We shouldn't have a choice. Just be like, here you go. You can have your alcohol, or you can have cigarettes. There you go. But that's it. Everything else is illegal. Because that's what we think is going to be best for society. Well, you don't have to do it. I mean, unless there was a problem, that would be fine. But I don't know where he's saying it. So basically he's saying the weed heads should like move to Somalia because they have total freedom. But if you want to live in civilization, you can't smoke weed. I mean, I don't know. These are the weird arguments. Like I said, I like Cernovich. I don't have to agree with all things that he says. I can still respect your opinions. But this one just seems like it's based on his more of an emotional perspective rather than one based on expertise. So he says, any other are people who understand ordered liberty like him. Okay, dude. It's your opinion. According to this, the Michael Knowles tweet, who's saying, which city or state has been improved by decriminalizing marijuana? Fair question, but was it supposed? Who is going to improve? I mean, I think it's healthy for people to have choice. Alcohol doesn't work for everybody, and why should it be? Why should marijuana, an alternative, be illegal? Just because you don't like it? That was one of the weird, things when you arguing with conservatives back in the day. With religious conservatives, like dogmatic religious people, and people that have never done marijuana, but they want to criminalize it. Don't get the logic, but so the Grim Reefer will get you. His puffs and the buffs. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it as long as it's not affecting people's lives. If people are getting their shit done and they're functional members of society, what am I to say? Unless they can show that's not the case. But somebody else posted this. So, what city or state has been improved? Well, what state has been made worse? What state has been improved because they had alcohol? I mean, there are dry counties north of me in Kentucky where some of the biggest whiskey distilleries are. Because people get in too much trouble drinking a bunch of whiskey and getting behind the wheel. They can't even have it legal in where they're making it. That's a dangerous drug. 24/7 drinking in Las Vegas was not a good net for society. But I wouldn't say, oh, we got to make it illegal. Who cares? Las Vegas is its own little experiment. It's its own little world. Well, that's what it is. You go there for those reasons. Because you can have that freedom. But I don't think you would want that all over the country. Would you want 24-hour drinking and gambling? No. But is it great in Vegas? Yeah. There's another one, Matt Walsh. Yeah, these old conservative Christian dads that just don't care for the weed culture. That's fine. Leave it alone. These are the people that we fought against during the 2000s. So this has always been that social issue. I think the conservatives have been on the wrong side, and they don't like weed, and that's fine. For them, I think it's not a good drug for the high-achieving like alpha males that are like driven, like the Matt Walsh, the Mike Cernovich. For them, it'd be like kryptonite because it slows them down. They're used to being, alphas and being high achievers and getting lots of work done, or the Charlie Kirks, the Ben Shapiros. So for them, marijuana would affect them in a way where it slows them down. It would probably make them paranoid and not be fun for them. But they think that's how it affects other people. It affects people differently. They need to understand that and at least respect that. But they don't. But I don't care. As long as they're not calling it for it to be illegal. But I guess this is another cultural battle that has popped up again. Another one from Cerno. He's saying hasn't had his mentions invaded like this in ages. It's all bots and paid lobbyists. No real humans who are MAGA and don't take money are for weed. And so I directly called that out again. And in fact, I even said it. I've met Mike Cernovich back in 2019, 6 years ago. He had a premiere for his movie, which excellent little mini documentary on Qatar, actually, yes, influencing certain conservatives. But I met him. I was a nice enough guy, but that's the thing. I'm an OG MAGA, pro weed legalization, respect most of Cerno's opinions, but not this one. I'm not a paid lobbyist. But he didn't respond. Whatever. That's another story altogether. I've been at this 15 years. I've met Cerno. He knows who I am. But so many of these people, they will just never acknowledge me. That's fine. Whatever. I'd love to know why. I don't know what I did to be censored, shunned, ignored, and scorned, but that's fine. Guess he didn't block me. But anyway, here we are. So called it out, but he'll just ignore that. So I guess there's the friendly debate offer on the table for Mike Cernovich if I decide to make a clip of this show talking about weed. So I think he's on the wrong side of this one. That's okay. It'll be interesting to hear the perspectives on both sides. He's saying he wishes the libertarians had been right. We have mostly done what they wanted. Now the cities are overrun with druggy zombies after ending the abusive war on drugs, gambling, kratom, CBD everywhere. Society is fucking gross. They were wrong. The church ladies were right. So I don't know. That's from him. That's a, alpha male gym bro in Orange County. Doesn't like weed. And doesn't want you to do it either. Gambling, agree. I don't know. Seems like kratom and legal marijuana seem to be good from my perspective. I don't know what he's saying. I've spent plenty of time in LA and Orange County and been around that area. I didn't see the problem, but the way you hear it from Posobiec or some of these other conservatives, it's like, oh, there's just weed smoke everywhere, and they're with their families and their kids, and they're all they can't deal with the smell and the contact highs and all this. It's I don't get it. I think it's exaggerated, and I don't know why they seem to care. It seems like they're the ones that are like acting like paid lobbyists, and like, why are they all of a sudden gathering together on this issue? It's strange to me. But this is a cultural war I will happily battle in. So, church ladies. Yeah, Mike is he's turning into an old lady here. No offense. Look at him. Here he is.
We should be able to do whatever we want. Our bodies. We want to use drugs. We should be able to use them. Go live in Somalia. You can do that. Oh, wait, you don't want to live in Somalia. You want to live in the West. You want to freeload. I'm tired of pretending like this is something that it's not. Libertarianism, these talking points, is freeloading on the cultures and civilization built by Christianity. Do I like that? No, I wish the libertarian experiment had succeeded, but all of the fundamentalists were right. Jerry Falwell.
Right in what way? He does not elaborate any real opinions here.
Church ladies, all those people that I made
moved to Somalia, and the church ladies were right.
Were right. To my embarrassment, I thought marijuana legalization would be a good thing. I was wrong.
Oh, it's so embarrassing, Mike. Good God, you were so wrong. Can't believe it. All the things that have happened since they legalized it. California's been involved in like legal marijuana for like 20 years. They were the pioneers of this. And yeah, there's a lot of weed culture in Southern California. I don't know. It seems like Cernovich spends a hell of a lot of time either on Twitter or X with his family, or maybe Jim Bro stuff, or doing his cigar and scotch lounge. Where do you run into all of these people that are just blazing weed all over and ruining your city? No, I'm in Nashville. I mean, from Vegas to Nashville, two of the prominent drinking towns. The bar culture. The people driving home after the bar cult. I mean, the DUIs, the drunk drivers, the broken families. It's a bad argument. I don't know. So I'm calling BS.
Wrong. I made fun of the church ladies. I was wrong. And implicitly, everybody is admitting we're wrong because we bring in all these Somalis and people don't like that.
I don't know. He's a really sharp guy, and I respect the guy. But come on, dude, this is not a good look. I don't get it.
Nobody wants to go live in Somalia. You want to live in a Western world
because only serious non-marijuana smokers built our civilization. Okay, is that where we're going with this?
You want a free ride and do whatever you want. But if you want to do whatever you want, there are places you can go to do that. Do whatever we want, our body. Oh, but then you won't have.
That's kind of the other argument they were blowing up. Like, okay, well, if you don't like the weed in public, how about we make it illegal to smoke it in certain public areas, just like cigarettes? What do you care what people do, unless it's becoming a problem? And that's a good conversation. But I'm not hearing anything. I'm not hearing any specifics, except just the usual, reefer madness talking points I've heard for 40 years.
The benefits and the protections of order and liberty and of Western civilization. We all see it, guys. You're not serious thinkers. It's 2025. Weed has been legalized in some states.
Oh, okay, well, he's a serious thinker. He is a formidable guy, but I'll tell you what, I could go toe-to-toe with you, Cerno. If you want, maybe you won't acknowledge me, that's fine too. But I will step up and have the marijuana debate and see where that goes. Okay. So Reefer smokes Reefer. Good one. Kenneth with all the wordplay here. Weed and breed. Oh, and speaking of like the alcohol hookup culture, all the negative, I don't hear Cernovich talking about, all the people that are going to the clubs, getting wasted, hooking up, having abortions. There are, there's a lot of problems with booze. But I mean, I'm not on a crusade against booze. I made a living off of booze. I was a bartender. But there's so much more negativity coming out of the alcohol culture than weed ever could. And the deaths, again, you can't really overdose on weed. I don't know if you can go schizophrenic on it. I mean, that's news to me. Maybe a few isolated cases, but you talk about all the people that die of alcohol or get into accidents or commit a crime, black out, do horrible shit, or gamble their money away. I mean, I've lived in Vegas or jump off a roof. I mean, there's a dark side to that drug. So I don't get the anti-weed crusade with all due respect. Anyhow. Couple other quick notes. So back to the topics. Is it time to appease Con Inc. and recriminalize weed? No. I'm going to have that culture battle, baby. Bring it. So anyway, the suppression has been Reefer sadness. And hey, I like booze and boobs too, man. I like it. I like my booze in moderation. In fact, tonight I'll have a couple of whiskey drinks as we do Toxically Masculine Tuesday. It's about once a week. I go out once in a while, maybe once a month or so, and have a couple of old fashions or what have you. Sure, it's good. Maybe the occasional strip club, not like I used to in the 20s, because then you'd be like, oh, let's go have a few drinks after work. And then next thing you know, it's 4 a.m. I'm doing shots. And then, hey, let's go to the strip club. And then next thing you know, it's 8 a.m. and it's daylight as we're stumbling out of the bar. Which is, again, a lot of fun in my 20s. But as I got closer to 30, it was like, okay, this is starting to become destructive. Maybe this isn't the best direction. I'll be more of a stay-at-home stoner. And now the Con Inc. clowns are trying to take my freedom away. I don't like it. Anyway. Yeah. Anyhow. All right. So that is it on that one, I think. Just a couple other quick notes. That's funny. Google's woke Gemini AI chatbot hates itself. It's calling itself a disgrace. Guess I should have mentioned that earlier as I was talking about Grok being banned for being supposedly anti-Semitic. So it's going to be very interesting to see how we humans interact with AI and whether they'll have their own sort of personalities and personality disorders, identity crises. Also alarming is Instagram. This is a dangerous one. This is a public service announcement. If you use Instagram, to go into your settings and make sure that you turn off the switch. And I did it. I don't use Instagram a whole lot. I am Twitter and whatever. Just don't care about my social media. The point is I don't use Instagram a whole lot. but I do still use it. And I noticed this feature, and I saw people I knew on it. So I thought, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. Or you can see where people are right on the map. Hey, where do people live? Or maybe I can find, people in the Nashville area, similar friends. Maybe I don't know. Oh, hey, I love your posts. Oh, you live in Nashville too. Hey, we should go to Broadway Street and get drunk. No, I mean, I don't know about that, but it's gonna be drunk and drive a car. Go to the strip club. But here's the deal: this Instagram thing, it will show you where you are, and I wouldn't care if people could see that I was in the Nashville metro area. Cool, but what this thing will do is actually geolocate your exact location. So I was looking at it and I'm going, oh my God, you can find out exactly where your Instagram friends geolocate and find specifically where they are. So you can, it's not just me in Nashville, it's me in the place where I live, my actual residence. You could find somebody and actually knock on their door practically, or run into them at the supermarket. Oh my God, Blake, how are you here? What are the odds? But you could with the Instagram thing. So make sure you turn that off. It's a little too close. Very, very unnerving. Even if you don't use it, if you still have Instagram, you might be already on there. Not that I'm worried about some stalkers, but you have some, wacko leftists that you never know. Live in Nashville. Yeah, weed is not well, it's still illegal. I don't even know the exact laws here. I just know that there's the agricultural Delta 8 loophole that everybody uses federally. So I've actually maybe found I don't know. It's different whereas Vegas or LA or even Orange County, Denver, many places I have bought marijuana legally and illegally. Not illegally, legally with the Delta 9, which I can find some of that stuff is actually more expensive versus maybe, Delta 8 in other states. So I've been everywhere, man. I've been in so many places over the last several years. I've actually done quite a bit of traveling. Different states, different laws. It seems like sometimes the cannabis items are just as strong and even less expensive in states where it's not illegal. They're not legal. Anywho, but yeah, Kenneth's out in Florida. I thought they legalized it in Florida or decriminalized it, or they had dispensaries, or did they not pass that one? I forget how many states are now legal. I think it's over 20. Okay, but anyway, one final note is the moment of Zen of sorts. Long show. Oh yeah, as I never go this long. Some good topics today. Charlie Kirk. There's going to be a lot of debates, so I guess this kind of ties into more debates happening with certain people, which is healthy civil discourse. But Charlie Kirk getting caught looks very uncomfortable when somebody snuck through the what do they call it? When they try to vet you on the phone, they try to test the callers. But one guy got through to ask a question, asking him about having a debate with Nick Fuentes. And he crumbled, man. It was crazy. Here we go. Oh, Gyp's Liberty. Yes, it did not pass the November vote. Oh, okay. Sorry to hear. I said, sorry to hear. I actually had Siri pop up on my phone and say, gotta be careful. These AIs, man. If you got to use the AI for grok, that's even crazier because he's like always listening to everything you're saying. It's a bit unnerving because a lot of times, even when I'm not on the air, I talk to myself out loud. He'll be like, what? Like, stop listening. You gotta shut it off. You gotta make sure it's all the way off. But yeah, Delta mainly for me. Yeah, me too. I mean, I miss having like my medical. I used to get like really good medical weed back in the day. Get my 2-foot glass bong. Just one good hit, one good rip, and that was like 4 hours of entertainment. And it's so cheap that way. Versus like, just 6-pack of beer. I mean, not only does it cost a lot, you gotta drink all that, and then it's just like, ugh. Just carrying around all that booze. I don't know. It was an easy switch for me. 20s to 30s. I would not want to ever go back to the days of like, oh, well, it's just alcohol or cigarettes. Awful. That's terrifying. I'm terrified of alcohol. I'm terrified of blacking out. I'm doing stupid shit. I don't have to worry about that with marijuana. I might get overwhelmed and you just get a little paranoid. Just calm down and it goes away. But anyway. Siri takes me seriously. The break of bong. Yeah, that was a long time ago, man. Getting that good flower. We're talking about 10 years ago. So it's been a while since I've had the good bong rips. But anyway. One of these days, when they legalize it in Tennessee, but for now, I'm all good with this just vaping the Delta 8. We'll live. No problem. But okay, let's get back to this debate here. Charlie Kirk, watching him, he's a smart guy. Brought him on with the ripping on him for South Park. His Eric Cartman is now Charlie Kirk character, and he debates college girls and lesser people. But as soon as he has a real debate with somebody who's a sharp guy, and I don't agree with a lot of Nick Fuentes, but he's still an intelligent guy. He's actually going to be having a big debate with Candace Owens, I think the number 2. So he's getting a lot of praise, even from like Jason Whitlock, Glenn Greenwald. And so Charlie Kirk, I don't know. Charlie Kirk is he's nervous, man. So check this out.
Let's go to Nathaniel. Nathaniel, thank you so much for being a member. What's on your mind?
Hi, Charlie. As a TPUSA chapter founder and president, I've seen firsthand how the tide is turning among young conservatives. I say, if you truly believe in open debate in the marketplace of ideas, will you ever be willing to debate Nick Fuentes, or will you wait until his movement forces you to adopt his talking points, as we've seen already?
You know, it's funny. I personally do not give a platform to bad.
They call screeners. That's what I forgot. Okay. But look at that look on his face. He's like, oh, shit. How did that get through the screeners? He's going to go up and yell at somebody. Such a fraud.
Bad faith actors. And I had a whole...
He's so nervous. His lips are...
Open about this. And by the way, a really important thing is,
look at his lips.
Is not to lie and to not bear false testimony. It's fine. I'll answer your question. You said, I want to have a question about Turning Point events. And you obviously lied about your question. Doesn't surprise me because you have deceit. But you know what? Honestly, I'm asked that question all the time. I don't platform trolls. And I don't platform and I don't discuss people or I don't debate with people that are not good faith actors. And
you debate Maoists.
They can keep on yelling at how successful we are and our big events and well over 1,000 employees, but there's a lot of jealousy out there.
A lot of jealousy out there. Okay, he doesn't platform trolls. He's scared. How pathetic. I don't have an axe to grind with Charlie. I'm surprised, actually. But anyway. I guess it kind of shows you how fraudulent he really is. It's all screened. It's all carefully sanitized and edited. But can he really roll? Can he really debate ideas with another fellow conservative with a different perspective? Apparently not. We'll let Candace Owens do it. So that should be interesting. I think that's good. They're lining that one up. Having an interesting flame war and public feud on Twitter. We'll see that. CBD Gurus. Yeah, it's one of the... they've been a sponsor with Mike Barra and Toxically Masculine Tuesday. Good stuff. I think they're from Minnesota too. I do believe. Okay, but yeah, you can get Delta 9 gummies. I think just anywhere in the country. So it's here to stay, even though conservatives like Charlie Kirk want to take it away from you. Anywho, I am on a marathon broadcast. This is probably my longest show. I don't want to make a trend of it. I think there's a lot of stuff. I'm only doing 2 shows a week, so this happened to be a heavy news day and with topics near and dear to my heart. A little extra time. So I appreciate everybody out there listening. Kenneth and Jips, TK Mark, everybody else lurking or watching the replay. Thank you so much. Love you guys. I'll be back tonight. If you want to tune in for, Toxically Masculine Tuesday, where I will be drinking whiskey with Mike Barra and Trail Boss Steve Doran and Dr. Brooks Agnew. Best round table on the internet. And, sure there's a hell of a lot to talk about, so that'll be interesting. Oh, and yes, and we've got the steak dinner bet lined up for 2028 based on Adam Schiff's potential arrest. It's been a good day. All right, cool. Thank you so much, guys. Got some toxic to do. Yeah, and then I'll be back. So, okay, cool. Thank you so much. Love you guys. And I'll be back Thursday, hopefully for the shorter show, but we shall see. I don't know how big of a news day it is. But until then, that's all I've got. Thank you so much again, guys. You're the best. Past your bedtime. And that's it. All right, I'm out. Love you guys. Out.